A man retreats to his cabin to escape heartbreak. But when a stranger accuses him of stealing a story, his life spirals into paranoia, madness, and murder. This is Secret Window 2004, where the mind itself becomes the deadliest crime scene.
The story begins in the dead of night. Mort Rainey, a once successful writer, storms into a motel room. He flings open the door and finds his wife Amy in bed with another man. The betrayal is instant and devastating. 6 months later, Mort is a wreck, disheveled, depressed, and living alone in a secluded lake cabin in upstate New York. He spends his days napping on the couch, barely writing, and numbing his pain with cigarettes and endless cups of coffee. One rainy afternoon, a knock comes at his door. Mort opens it to find a tall, soft-spoken man in a wide-brimmed hat. He introduces himself as John Shooter, a Mississippi farmer. Shooter accuses Mort of plagiarism, claiming that Mort stole his story word for word. He hands Mort a manuscript titled Sowing Season. Mort is irritated, dismisses the man, and slams the door. But curiosity gets the better of him, and when he reads the manuscript, his heart sinks. The story is almost identical to his own published tale Secret Window, written years earlier, with one disturbing difference. Shooter's version ends differently. Shooter soon returns, demanding Mort admit his theft and fix the ending. Mort insists he wrote his story first, and promises to find proof from a magazine that published it years before. But Shooter is relentless. He warns Mort that if he cannot prove it, there will be consequences. At first, Mort brushes it off, thinking Shooter is just a crank. But then his beloved dog, Chico, is found brutally killed with a screwdriver. Mort is shaken to his core. Shooter calmly tells him it is a matter of principle. Mort takes the matter to the local sheriff, but with no witnesses and no clear evidence, the police can do little. Shooter, it seems, is always careful and always one step ahead. Desperate for help, Mort hires a private investigator named Ken Karsh to watch over him and dig into Shooter's background. Karsh is practical and reassuring, but Mort's nerves continue to fray. Shooter appears again and again, his calm drawl filling Mort's ears with threats about fixing the story. Mort begins to feel trapped in a nightmare where every path leads back to this man. Soon, the violence escalates. Mort finds his house vandalized, furniture overturned, and the words, "You stole my story," scrawled across his walls. The pressure mounts when Karsh and Amy's new partner, Ted, are ambushed. Karsh is murdered, and suspicion begins to close in on Mort himself. Throughout all of this, Mort's paranoia deepens. He spends hours muttering to himself, staring into mirrors, and questioning if Shooter is real, or just in his head. His once clear line between fiction and reality starts to blur. The more he thinks about Shooter, the more Shooter seems to control him. Mort races to find proof of his innocence. He contacts his literary agent to get a copy of the magazine that published his story years earlier. The agent promises to send it, but when the package arrives, it has already been torn open. The crucial pages are missing. Someone does not want Mort to have proof. Or maybe Mort himself destroyed it. The paranoia grows unbearable. Mort confronts Amy, who tries to reason with him, but he cannot hear her anymore. Shooter's voice drowns out everything else. Shooter taunts him, saying the only way to make things right is to rewrite the ending the way it was meant to be, with death, revenge, and a clean slate. And then, the horrifying truth is revealed. Shooter is not real. John Shooter is a figment of Mort's shattered mind, a second personality created from his rage, loneliness, and guilt. Every act of violence, from Chico's death to the vandalism, to Karsh's murder was Mort himself. Shooter was the mask he wore to excuse it. The climax comes when Amy and Ted return to the cabin. Mort, fully consumed by his shooter persona, brutally murders them both. He buries their bodies in the garden under a fresh patch of corn. Mort feels an eerie calm wash over him. The story is finally fixed. The film closes with Mort sitting at his kitchen table, casually eating corn from the garden. His narration echoes hauntingly. The ending is the most important part of the story, and this one is perfect. Secret Window 2004 is more than a thriller about plagiarism. It is a chilling descent into madness, and a haunting reminder that sometimes the most dangerous battles happen inside the human mind. If you enjoyed this recap and love movies with shocking twists and psychological suspense, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more recaps every week.